Well, this brings me to a very favourite place in the Isle of Man. We are in the Woody. With me is Trevor and Mark. Trevor, you pull the pints and you have been for a few years. Mark, you know a little bit about the history about this place. A lockdown special, I think you referred to before we started. So anyway, the reason we're here today is...
It's the Woody's 125th birthday.
Did you look it up, or did you know this, or how did it come about?
It came about with... Mark started it really with just a family history thing, and then it developed into, 1895. That makes this place 125.
Wow.
So I think we should have a bit of a party.
Okay. Well, we'll come to that history, but I know that this was, I think anyway, this was the first pub to have electricity. They generated their own, didn't they?
Yes, as far as I know, it's the first. It had a generator down in the basement, which served the electricity for the hotel, but also for some of the properties in the area as well.
Of course, this was a hotel.
Yes, yeah.
Is it still here, the actual generator?
No, I think it was probably in the mid-late 80s that it went, but somebody will know where it is. So anybody wants to let us know what happened to it, we'd love to hear.
So a little bit about the history. What can you tell us?
Okay, well, the pub was originally designed in about 1892 by an architect called William John Renison, and he, of course, did a number of pubs, including the Sefton. So it's quite a well-known architect. But actually it started with quite a lot of controversy at the start of the Woodbourne's history, which is where it became sort of interesting. The man who developed the pub was a local businessman called Joseph Drake Rogers, J.D. Rogers, who went on to become more infamous as one of the people who went to prison as a result of the Dumbbells bank crash in about 1900s, where he got 18 months with hard labour for his. But before that, he actually developed the Woodbourne. Amongst other things, he had a number of properties in the area. It was 1895 that they actually went for a public house licence in the end of April and beginning of May. So I can tell you a bit about that if you like. Basically, the hotel was finished in 1895. From the start, there was some objection from the residents and the neighbours to it being built. It was designed ostensibly as a residential hotel, but if you look at the plans, and we've been able to get some of the plans, the original plans from the Public Record Office, which look really good, and if you look at them, it's very clearly it was built as a pub as well. But anyway, they went to the licensing court in the 30th of April 1895, and unusually it took 2 days worth of sitting for the licensing court, most of which was taken up by objections led by the Reverend Ripon, who was part of the temperance movement, and some of the neighbours. So there's a lot of opposition to the pub being opened. Joseph Drake Rogers, who I said developed it, he gave evidence, and one of the attacks from the Reverend Ripon was that Dumbbells Bank might have had money behind the hotel, and that it was right that 3 of the licensing bench actually were involved with the bank as well. So he suggested that they might want to recuse themselves, which they had to think about it and then decided, no, we won't bother, and stayed on the licensing bench. So they had 2 days hearing, and it's reported in the newspaper almost verbatim. It's a wonderful bit of history. But anyway, they had most of the objections, but after 2 days the bench retired, and after 8 minutes they came back and gave them the licence.
Oh wow. Fantastic.
8 minutes.
8 minutes, you got it. Now, this place has been well known for the gentleman's bar.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to kind of keep that going? Because I think it's so sort of PC in this world. Is it still only for guys, or
no
ladies go in there?
No, anybody can go in there.
Okay, but it's still referred to as that, isn't it?
It's always, I think forevermore, it will always be referred to as the gents bar. We still have the original signage upstairs in the office where it clearly stated this is a gentleman's bar. But it never said no, ladies are not permitted. So that never came about.
Well, if these walls can speak, eh? Yeah,
oh,
be a few stories here. You're kind of a place that hasn't had too much. I'll use the word tarting up, which is in a nice way. Mm-hmm. Is that a good thing? You've kind of been left alone almost from the makeovers.
Yeah, it's a good thing. When I came here, it was looking its age. It was very tatty. But the company then invested quite a substantial amount and did a really, really good job. And I think the essence of the thing is it's kept its character. To start knocking walls down and things like that in here would have been a real travesty. And everybody who's come in pre-refurb, post-refurb, have said what a great job.
Yeah, it's been sympathetic, I think
yeah,
that's the word.
Excellent.
See, I remember, obviously years ago, it'd be like a black ceiling almost because all the smoke that used to go on. It's crazy, isn't it, the things that have changed really. We just take for granted now that the pubs are different, aren't they? But you've kept yours as near as you can.
Yep. Do you want to tell the story of the cigarette smoke?
Right. Oh, there's a story.
Well, for many years, one of the regulars, I think his name was Clive, I think Stanford, but Joyce Cartier, who was a long-standing publican here, used to get Clive to clean the ceilings once a year. So it'd be like sugar soap or whatever. So he'd start on a Sunday evening, and they'd start in the vaults. And so then each day you'd work up, do the different bars. But all the locals in each bar had to move from one bar to the next, which was a source of great grumbling. But
all that nicotine.
Well, the nicotine had to be cleaned off at least once a year, so that must not be a pleasant job, I can imagine. So.
I know it'll be too late by the time this goes out, but you're having a special promotion today because you don't open all day, do you? Here?
No, we open at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock through till midnight.
But today's a special.
Today's a special day, so we're opening at 1:25.
And there's promotions, but the locals will know about that.
Yeah, everybody knows about that.
Well, obviously, years gone by when it was a hotel, that's all gone. But is everything still up there? I mean, what's it like?
There's still some really old features up there. The old intercom system from the rooms is still up there.
Could you order your drinks?
It's very dated. And at the moment, there's plans in place to renovate the top 2 floors and make 6 luxury apartments.
It's a big area, isn't it?
It's a huge area.
Yeah.
And massive footprint.
Okay, well, thanks for talking to us. And any other little nuggets you got? I think there's tons more you got to tell us. But anything?
Well, I've only just got to 1895, so anybody
come back and do a whole series. I think.
Anybody who's got stories, later on, a pub is just it's people, it's the landlord, it's the publican, it's the people, and it's the stories that they can tell about it. So I think there's a good lot of stories to be told and captured, and some of them can be told publicly, some may not.
And if I had a pint here, I'd be cheers to the Woody, but didn't happen, never mind.